Alright, so here we are. I still want to try and conduct the autopsy, but I think it's getting late. So, I will fight any one of you to work. One-on-one, let's go. So this is I think these are the gates. They're closed. It says Greater Ravencall Industrial Harbor. Stop effing ruining it for everybody. Whatever you say, but what are you guys doing?
Bastards! We have a right to work!
The man yells towards the harbor gates. His voice is the loudest of the lot, and oddly screechy for a man of his size. What's going on here?
Hold up and stay frosty, everyone. Cops are here.
The broad-shouldered alpha male turns to you. He's a full head taller than everybody else here. He's a big guy. Scab leader.
You here to fuck with us? Beat the honest worker down.
Why should I?
We're here to fight for a cause. Stripes usually have problems with people who have causes.
Okay, then I'm thinking no.
Good. We're fighting for a cause here. Right to work! Right to work!
Chance at the gate. Alright. So are you... No, wait. You guys are the dock workers? Or are you the... 1 second.
Besides, we're not that different.
He leans closer.
It helps if people see us talking, cops and strikebreakers together.
Strike breakers.
Shows authorities are on our side. Builds confidence.
What kind of cause are we talking about?
Rights of people. Rights of workers. To have
Dock
gainful
workers union?
employment.
Okay, so you're
To
union.
make a salary. And feed their families.
Okay.
His manner of speaking is wooden, the tone of voice bland and uninspired, almost as if compiling replies from a set of learned phrases.
From your boss, probably. I don't think I've chosen any sides yet.
Might be time. Don't let the fat bastards tread on you. Cops tend to side with the higher-ups, but you're essentially still workers.
I guess.
I don't trust cops, but I can see you understand the...
He raises
Right
his voice
to
and
work!
chants.
Right to work!
Regardless, I have some questions for you.
Maybe you should ask them the questions. Like, why we're not allowed to make a living here.
He bellows to the gates.
Shame on you!
Great.
We have families to feed, you piece of shit.
He points his finger at the man sitting on the railing. Huh.
So do we, Scott.
The loitering man hollers in return. What is a strike?
When a bunch of ungrateful, lazy cockroaches can't get their act together, decide to block honest work for other people.
He shifts uncomfortably in his workers' overall. What do the strikers want?
Beats me. They mumble nonsense about boardrooms and workers' rights, while we...
He raises his fist and starts shouting at work.
Right to work!
Okay, so the leaders of the union, I guess, want a strike, so they have stopped everyone from working. The normal workers want to work, right?
There's something odd in the way he carries himself. His set of clothing looks vaguely mismatched. The different pieces of the attire seem ill-fitting.
Ill-fitting, what does that mean?
His shirt is far too small and an unpleasantly tight fit, while the overalls, held up by a belt, seem to fit a man with much more corpulence.
You're wearing new clothes?
He ignores your question, choosing instead to turn to the emaciated workers, raising both fists in the air. The clothes are obviously not his.
Okay.
Silence is the answer. There's something off here, but he won't say what.
Okay. Who are all these strike breakers? Look around.
Honest men and women, with rights, to work, to be useful, not toys for corporate interests.
The man runs a hand through his steadily graying military haircut.
We came here to help the harbor run smoothly in time of crisis. If union fucks don't want work, they ought to let in those who do want work.
So you have been paid by the company to come here and break the strike. Okay, I see.
I have a question. Why do all these men follow your leadership?
You think they follow because I'm big and loud? No. They follow the rules of the market, the rules of the economy, because they were
He starts bellowing.
given a job to do!
You've been talking to him for quite a while now. Something is off with this guy. Ask him where he's from.
Okay, I gotta ask, where exactly are you from?
What's it to you?
Deep-set suspicion drips from every syllable. Gotta figure out the strike mess routine part of the investigation. I thought you looked real familiar for a second there. It's part of the investigation.
Am I a suspect?
His
Done no
eyes narrow.
crimes. I only fight for the rights of people.
Already got that. I'm interested in your background.
We're all workers, right? Workers stick together. Came from the eminent domain, in Jamrock. Backgrounds in odd jobs, heavy lifting, cargo hauling, bouncer work. I know the drill.
A bouncer? Where? Figuring out of bars. Maybe it's one I know. Sweet, I know bars and know several of them. A bouncer where? I frequent a lot of bars. Maybe it's one I know.
Quartet Territorial. Ring a bell?
Yeah, I think I've been there.
Uh-huh. It was a long time ago.
The man is quickly losing interest in talking with you. Alright. What exactly is your goal here?
We were promised work.
You
We'd
punched
be
the gates.
in there, working, if the bastards hadn't shut the gates.
And you're unable to breach the entrance?
Main gate's locked. We'll take heavy ordnance to bust it open, and try to get in through the secretary's office.
He points up the
Door's
stairs.
locked. The guard's blocking the way to the access panel. And I don't mean the scrawny mess punk either.
He points to the
I
dock
mean
worker idling on
head
the staircase.
measurer, or whatever he is.
Wait, head measurer?
Yeah, that giant up there on the bridge you talked to.
Okay.
Head measurer. Won't let the workers by. The access panel is right behind him.
How bad could one guy be? You seem capable.
Bad. Standing on a narrow bridge, he's got a strategically advantageous position. And he's trained. I don't know how the Union has a trained killer up there. But that one's no joke. And my men are tired and hungry. They're workers, not fighters.
Have you considered storming in, like all of you?
Why don't you go arrest them instead? I'm sure they've done plenty of criminal shit. They have that look.
Well, you have evidence.
It would be better for the neighborhood if you went home, at least for now, if you can't get in anyway.
No! They will give up eventually. Or get drunk. Leave the button unguarded. Then we charge.
The man rubs his jaw. Perfect, tightly bearded square wedge. Well, I'm just gonna leave now. We had a deal. We can work here. The lorries probably stored fuel here. Now they stored views. Right. Well, someone dropped money. Look, I signed a 6-month contract. Well, I guess it doesn't matter now. Pretty thick. Search the trash. Magnesium. Haha, welcome to Revenshaw. Jump Jams. A glossy magazine, most able-bodied men. This issue hosts top 10 list. Whirling in rags. Alright, so this is where we were at the start. Wild pines. Goods on the lorry haphazardly littering the surroundings. So I know we had a guy we could talk to. But let's quickly try and do the autopsy. I don't know if we can do it right now. The kid is gone, right? No, he's still here. He's just not throwing stones anymore. I guess the body is down, so.
The rotting man lies on his side with his eyes looking straight through you. The belt is still around his neck. His body is supine and open to intrusion by autopsy.
Alright.
The lieutenant adjusts his glasses and takes a deep breath.
First, what exactly is a field autopsy?
Come on, officer. You know what a field autopsy is. You've done 100 of them.
Sure.
What you do know is, at 18.9 kilometers, the dormant shield volcano, Corpus Muindi, is the world's highest summit, and the failure of the 38 single, Et puis descend, to crack the top 20 was the death knell of disco. But what a field autopsy is, you have no idea.
Why don't you know what you know? Do you have another pair of gloves?
Unfortunately, no.
I have gardening gloves. Maybe they are enough.
They are better than nothing.
Look at the
Still,
gloves.
I perform the anatomical side of things while you will take notes.
We just fill this in, right? Show him the red field autopsy form in your ledger.
That's right.
Boom, experience. Open your ledger at the field autopsy form. Let's not try and remove his boots.
The dead man stares in silence
There he
as
is.
you crack open the ledger. The bright red paper is covered in boxes and lists, describing the condition of his skin and organs in 3 parts. Above those, an 11-field info form needs filling out first. It begins with,
Let's jump ahead to the 3-part summary. What? No. Begin. 1. Assistant?
That's you.
Harry Dubois. Yes.
the corpse is indifferent to your scribblings, just lies there. The next box says,
Coroner's case number.
KK57-0803.0815.
Alright, sure.
KK equals Kim Kitsuragi. 57 equals Precinct 57, followed by his date 0803 and time of arrival 0815 on the scene. He's indexed the case after himself, not you.
Sure, I
That's
guess.
because he doesn't want to bring up the messy question of your initials.
You know what? Let's not. I lost my memory. Let's not
Next,
do anything. Name.
NA. Next,
Date of birth.
NA.
Age.
Roughly 50.
Roughly 50. Alright.
Dry 40. The damage is so extensive, it's better to err on the young side.
Visual calculus. I'm going to write approximately 42.
He nods.
Alright. Race.
Mondial.
Mondial. Sure.
Fair to olive-skinned, from the Isola of Muindi. This is as vague as it gets. You might as well say whitish.
But we don't know, so sure. Write it down.
The pudgy mess of curdled meat looks neither mondial nor anything other.
Sex is male.
Fucky!
What the hell, bro?
Male.
Male. Yeah.
Pigs can have sex!
Right. Male.
Nor does he look male, with his pregnant belly and indistinguishable face.
Date of death.
We're still going with March 4th. 51.
Alright. 4351.
What else?
He looks over your
Nine.
shoulder.
Body identified by is non-applicable. 10. Case number is the same as the coroner's case.
Alright, sure.
KK 57 0503 0815 listens motionless, with the cargo belt still around his neck. Only one box remains.
Evidence of treatment.
None. At least not after the initial examination.
I'm not so sure. Didn't the footprints look like he was carried over?
They'd have to have incapacitated and carried him over. This man was more than a match for untrained dog walkers.
He places his hands on the dead man's chest as if in preparation.
Your central nervous system recognizes this gesture. It's the stations of the breath. Ecclesiastic, religious in nature, a holdout from pre-DeLorean burial rites. It takes him 2 seconds to perform.
Then,
We should start the post-mortem.
turn the page.
The corpse cannot feel Kim's hand on his chest. It no longer meaningfully interacts with its surroundings. A thicket of boxes and lists on red copier paper tries to answer why.
External, internal, and description of injuries. Alright. External examination summary.
Clothes.
Clothes.
The deceased wears armored boots and white briefs. The make of the briefs is Babrodine, I think. Let's see.
He turns the body onto its side to check the underwear label.
See, it's happening.
It's happening, great.
Babrodine, yes. Inexpensive. Size M. Color white.
Alright.
The disappointment is palpable. The red-haired thing was expecting something more lurid.
Great. Write it
The
down.
boots are ceramic. Vitreous enamel. They are fused to his skin from blood flowing downward post-mortem. Removal of the boots is left for processing.
Sure, done.
It would be clever of you to omit the boots altogether, sire. If you are to keep them for yourself, as you ought to, you have deserved them more than anyone else.
Write it
The
down.
boot has a serial
Yeah.
number.
It's important.
It's E50.100.100. 100. The lines between the plates are in the shape of the alphanumerical. The number is purposefully concealed by the design.
Alright, write it down.
Tattoos.
He stands up, feet spread on the other side of the body.
The upper torso is covered in a single, continuous tattoo resembling a microelectronical circuit board. It reaches from the right shoulder to the heart. The ink is blue and white.
Yep.
The assistant has a color photograph of the markings to be added to the case files as document A1. The photo is taken on the scene using a Trigat Mini.
And we have a photo. Okay,
The
good.
deceased has a belt for airlifting cargo around his neck, tied with a hangman's knot. Color yellow. Length 3 meters. There is a buckle on the other end.
Write it down.
Well nourished, athletically built, measuring 1.8 meters. Generally consistent with age 42. Preservation is good. Ambient temperature below freezing.
Alright, write it all down.
Body hair is light brown. Distribution is consistent with age. The deceased had male pattern baldness. Hair is combed back, short.
Light brown distribution is consistent with age. Touch the corpse's hair before moving on.
His hair feels wet, soaked with rain, cold to touch. Not that different from a living person after a swim.
Okay, I need to get weird. Just write it down.
Lividity is consistent with hanging, albeit faint, as noted. The head is congested. Contusions are present on the head, chest, and thighs, consistent with stones thrown post-mortem. Low velocity.
From the kids, yeah.
Fucking low velocity. You think Kuno doesn't know what you're talking about? Velocity was fucking max.
Not so much.
Talking shit about Kuno's velocity.
Great.
In addition, there are bite marks on the face, scalp, and chest, consistent with predation.
I meant for high velocity. No.
Ligature mark.
Ligature mark. The lieutenant produces a small folding knife. With the other hand pulling on the belt, he starts cutting into the polyester. The stench is horrid. After a while, it's obvious the material cannot be cut.
The steel wiring.
The steel wiring.
There's too much of it. We need to remove the belt so we can get to the ligature mark.
Okay.
You got just the right tool for that. The chain cutters.
Oh yeah, I'm prepared. Pet the chain cutters. Good thing we got these chain cutters. Rubber gripped cutters. Chain
The
cutters.
hanged man lets out a joyous little bubble of rot from his nose.
Good thing we got these chain cutters. Pull out the rubber grip cutters. Oh, pet the chain cutters. Alright.
Always good to think ahead. Now,
He points to the rope squeezing the dead man's neck.
we need to cut the belt to see the ligature mark below. Carefully, with as much precision as you can.
Yeah.
See, my pig is gonna fuck his head off.
Great.
No, he ain't. Your pig's a boring fuck.
Oh god, low 28%. Look for a good spot to cut, yeah.
The belt is equally tight around the whole circumference of his neck, swelling over the edges like white bread rising from the east.
Amazing.
The knot is the weak spot. The chain cutters fit in there. Steady now, like a flower arranger. 2 cuts and it should come loose.
73, look at that. Very good. Cut the belt off.
After
Done.
some deliberation, you sink the cutters into the knot tying the belt together. You squeeze the rubber handles together, sweat forming on your brow.
Press down.
Snap.
Boom.
The knot is slashed. Another cut and the belt falls apart like a flower bouquet, revealing the dead man's neck and the dark red ligature mark around it.
And that's important
The rope
because...
rises to a point, leaving a gap in the ligature mark. The suspension point is in the back of the neck.
The lieutenant has needle close running his fingers along the dark red groove until there is a gap.
Hemorrhaging is observed on the skin, above and below the ligature mark. The mark is well pronounced, consistent with a drop from 1 or 1.5 meters.
With a drop. Write it
Chest
down.
is intact, normal contour. Abdomen is protuberant, pelvis intact, genitalia.
Pulls down the man's underpants. Great.
No, let's get out and see.
Great.
I fucking knew it!
Of course.
Genitalia is male and unremarkable. No evidence of injury.
Inspect the genitals.
The dead man's penis is average sized, congested from the downward collection of blood. The testicles are uneven in length, hanging underneath. The genitalia is greenish, Marbling is present around the crotch.
Alright, no comment. Seems normal. Write it down.
Back is symmetrical and intact. Upper and lower extremities are intact, but asymmetrical. There are combat injuries on the right hand, thigh, and hip.
He struggles to turn the corpse on his side. Okay, sure.
In addition, I see smaller, residual scars, too numerous to count, covering about 30% of his skin.
Really?
From wounds sustained over 2, maybe more decades, dispersal and accumulation indicates long and active combat duty.
Scarring is extensive, way more than a law official's. He nods.
We have a real museum here. Of battles, wars.
Write it down.
Last item, hands.
Hands. He takes the man's right hand in his, inspects it, then moves on to the other hand. Pick up the hand.
The hand is surprisingly heavy to lift, filled with decay liquids. Feels as though it could explode if squeezed harder. You're suddenly repulsed, so much so you feel compelled to drop it.
Please don't drop it.
Hands are clean. No sign of injury from struggling.
The written says, as 5 cold surgical fingers slip from his hand. Alright. Were you be expecting any?
I was. Maybe I'm just not seeing them. Honestly, this stench is making it hard for me to think at the moment.
Alright, so no strands of a struggle. Write it down.
Ooh. That's all for the external. Well done. What next?
He returns to the side to breathe. It's not enough. He buries his face in the sleeve of his jacket. You hear a muffled voice. Alright. Description of injuries.
I'm afraid we can't continue before we've gone through both the external and internal examination first, thoroughly.
Alright, internal then.
Central nervous system.
He says
I
and
have
concludes abruptly.
Do you have anything on this man's central nervous system?
Do
Of
I?
course, there is a moral to be drawn from it. A moral to this story.
If I may add the moral of the story. What? If I may add the moral of the
What
story.
would that be?
He looks at you inquisitively.
The dead man looks, too, with barely contained excitement to hear the moral of his story.
The brain is very vulnerable to compromises in its blood supply.
I think that may well be the moral of every story, officer.
Against the goodest of good cops. I got an achievement for that, huh? I'll write an A.
Good. Musculoskeletal. Purge fluid is coming from the mouth. Not
He gets
injury
close to the
related.
mouth hole, eyes squinting from
Eyes
the
and tongue
stench.
protuberant. Hyoid bone. Let's see.
I don't even know what the hyoid bone is.
With his eyes almost closed, the lieutenant puts his hand on the dead man's throat and begins to massage it, gently.
Great.
A rotting smell erupts from the mouth. Purge fluid runs down his lips, black and viscous.
Great.
You hear cracks as the lieutenant moves his sharp fingers inside the flesh, like the creaking of an old house at night.
Yeah, jack that fucker off!
Oh god.
The hyoid bone is fractured. The rest of the musculoskeletal system is intact. Unremarkable.
Alright, write it down.
Respiratory system.
Back hunched as if in prayer, he begins to pry open the dead man's jaws. He stops to exert more force. Both hands are used.
Oral cavity shows no lesions. The victim has received dental implants, possibly after a combat wound. Mouth swollen. Hemorrhaging present in mucosa of the lips and mouth.
Okay, look inside the mouth.
No scream, no sigh of relief rises from the darkness inside. It's humid there. Sickly sweet air, unlike anything living. You feel like you're about to throw up again, straight in that mouth of his.
But we could find some information out if I keep looking, right? Look deeper inside.
It's hard. Once more, you taste stomach acid in the back of your throat. A contraction. Your throat pumps a little something from your stomach and into your mouth. You're forced to swallow, just to keep looking.
Might find something.
Inside, you see darkness. Just a mess of meat and darkness.
Nothing?
Silence as always.
Great.
Hemorrhaging present in mucus.
Let's go to the jaw, the mouth snaps shut. Write it down.
Hepatobiliary. NA.
Why, don't we have anything?
Are you a hepatobiliary expert?
He looks at the corpse's stomach with a mixture of tiredness and disgust.
Hepato means liver, and biliary, the gallbladder and bile ducts.
Don't think so.
Neither am I.
That's it?
That's it.
Alright,
Same
sure.
for toxicology and serology. NA.
Both?
Unless you have untapped reservoirs of knowledge there.
Reservoirs? No, but do they take obscure trivia and odd tidbits?
The completionist in me wonders if there's something we could still do.
Like a toxicology screening.
Uh-huh.
At this stage, I doubt processing will find anything,
Great.
even if he was brimming with cocaine. But still, you should add a request.
Alright, add toxicology request.
Cardiovascular. The body exhibits heavy lividity.
Hmm.
Blood has gathered in the hands, feet, and neck. Hypostasis is visually consistent with the hanging.
Consistent with the hanging, alright.
Gastrointestinal.
He breathes a sigh of approaching relief. This is the last field on the list. He looks around to the ground. The pool of feces there.
This will do.
This will do.
Digested semi-solid food in stomach. Voila.
He touches the corpse, blooded lower. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Omit the voila.
What's next on the list?
Description of injuries, how that we fully examined the body.
Let's see. We have bite marks, contusions on the head and chest, and a ligature mark encircling the neck. You'll need 3 fields. Leave a 4th one too.
Be thorough if you want maximum results.
Bite marks.
Head, chest, and scalp bite mark injuries. Predation by birds has caused damage to the body. Odontologist does not need to be consulted.
Alright.
And your opinion, officer?
Beneath the description there are 2 boxes. Opinion, fatal injury, non-fatal, post-mortem.
Agreed. Next injury?
Contusions.
So, the scalp bleeds from a post-mortem head injury, a stone. The injury does not have the rim of an early inflammatory response. The perpetrator on the scene has confessed to causing it post-mortem.
Yep. Cool
At
now.
maximum velocity, fucko!
Yeah, sure.
Has confessed to causing it at maximum velocity.
Write it down.
Coagulated blood sticks to his scalp and chest, where the countless stones have hit the dead man. Beneath, the description of injury. 2 boxes.
Non-fatal, post-mortem.
Right. Next?
What's the 4th injury field for?
Nothing. Just in case.
Alright. Turn the page back.
The corpse lay slouched to the side, oblivious to its surroundings. The field autopsy form describes his state in 3 points.
Alright. Bite.
Yeah.
Thorough.
A dark
Ligature
red
mark.
abraded ligature mark encircling the neck, with a gap on the nape measuring, let's say, 7 centimeters.
7
The
centimeters.
hyoid bone is fractured, the cervical column intact.
Okay.
I see hemorrhaging on the skin, above and below the ligature mark. Depth of
Oh,
the
God.
mark, 1 centimeter. No signs of clawing on the neck.
Okay.
Below the note, 2 customary boxes wait to be ticked. The man's head jerks to the side. The ring around his neck is visible. Think for a moment. There's time. Don't rush.
So, 2 customary box. Dark red abraded ligature mark encircling the neck, with a gap on the nape measuring, let's say, 7 centimeters. The hyoid bone is fractured, the cervical column intact. I see hemorrhaging on the skin above and below the ligature mark. Depth of the mark 1 centimeter, no signs of clawing on the neck. So this is basically, do I think that this person was killed, then brought here and hanged? Or hanged here, and that's how he died? He did say consistent with hanging. So we did notice a couple of things that said it might not be consistent of a hanging, right? We did think some stuff like that too. Right, I don't... You know what, for now I think let's just say this was the fatal injury, right? Because we don't know. We do think that it might not be. No signs of a struggle though. You're telling me he was just knocked out, brought here, and then hanged? In which case, yeah, it would be fatal. Or he was killed, brought here, and then just hanged. Destroyed as if he was hanged, but actually he wasn't. I'm gonna say non-fatal. He didn't fall silent abruptly.
Why do you say that?
I'm serious, I don't think this was the injury that killed him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why don't you think it was fatal?
I don't like the coloration, the lividity does not convince me.
Most everything else on the victim says otherwise.
He pauses.
But I agree.
Uh-huh.
I was ready to establish a cause of death here, officer. But now I think we should leave it empty. At least for the time being.
That's the 4th slot.
Let's wrap this up.
Boom.
I pronounce this field autopsy over.
New skill point. He produces a small black plastic roll from his jacket, a body bag. Let's wrap this up. I want to speed voiceover. First, how did it go?
It was
He looks for
an
the right
irregular
words.
field autopsy. We did not establish cause of death, which is supposed to be the goal of an autopsy. But personally, I do not see this as a parameter for success.
Yep, nor do I. I mean, we don't know what happened here.
We also requested a toxicological screening. That was thorough. The results should arrive in a couple of weeks, if we are lucky. I will not hold my breath.
Okay, what else?
We were thorough with the list of injuries too. We described them all in detail. What is there to say? Given the circumstances, it was a professional field autopsy.
Alright, what now?
I need a copy of that autopsy form. Then I will drive him to Faubourg
Rip out a copy of the autopsy
for
pages.
processing.
He looks at the dead man one more time and then looks at the slip of red paper in his hand, then at the corpse again.
You tilt your head, also looking at the corpse. I'm sure we didn't get everything. There's always something.
Stop wasting time, you're smart. Didn't establish probable cause. Search the body one more time thoroughly. Let's see. Tell me who you are, dead man. Inland Empire.
The fish lips
Nope.
stay silent in response. You must be losing your mind, asking him that over and over.
Great.
I told you, he is male, 40 to 50, with an athletic build.
I mean, might as well try this. Search it.
Your arms
Oh my
reach
god,
out and your eyes
success.
close, as if by their own volition. It's dark all around. You feel cold, slippery flesh, first with your fingertips, then under the palm of your hand.
What is this? I found something. Oh, this is insane, dude. That was such a low chance. I just
His
got it.
face, his cheeks, his nose, his fat, swollen lips. Like a spider, your hand crawls over his features. Everything is silent.
Crawl up his nostrils.
They are swollen shut. You need to really push to get in.
Alright, push them in.
Only the little one fits. The flesh changes shape as you bore in, searching for something in the cartilage.
Do I find something?
The fuck is he doing?
You hear a voice quick. It sounds very far away.
The thing you're looking for, it's not there. Crawl out, spider.
Put your fingers in his mouth. Oh, there they go.
The oral cavity is cold and moist. A ball-like tongue attaches itself to the base of the mouth, lolling around like a scallop.
Play with it. This feels right.
The tongue moves freely in the cavity. The mucus of the mouth is slippery, delicate to touch. From the soft meat, teeth are budding. Hard pearls of bone in the gums and in the back of the mouth.
Something.
Can you feel it? You're so close. Rip his jaws open now. Look in.
Open your eyes and look.
A vision of black and dark red death, pried open by your naked hands and studded with teeth. Looks like he's laughing. Death fumes rising from the throat, and there, in the back of his mouth, above the bell of the uvula, right in the soft palate,
Is there something?
you see a hole,
Oh.
barely visible to the human eye. It is swollen shut, almost vanished. No larger than 0.4 centimeters in radius, the edges appear darkened.
There's a hole in his neck.
An abrasion collar. This is what we're after.
Say, abrasion collar.
Abrasion collar.
There's a pen in his hand. His notebook is open at the copy paper.
Kuno is silent.
Touch it with your finger, gently.
A black trickle of liquid runs into his throat from the wound.
Put your finger in, I guess.
Your index fits right in there. A tight tunnel of flesh opens up. Tissue damage. Wide enough for 2 fingers. As you push both in, you reach through his mouth, right into his brainstem.
Oh god.
The fuck is happening?
Great.
Ah, shit, see?
Brainstem?
Yes, that's what this part is called.
Feel around first.
The
Yeah.
basal ganglia feels clumpy. What entered here has torn apart his reptilian complex.
Okay.
This man will never sleep again. Never wake.
Something shot him in the head through his mouth? I guess. Push
Your
deeper.
fingers slide into the remains of his limbic system. There is no resistance. It's gelatinous. The slug-like structures are damaged too. The tearing extends deep into both hemispheres.
Of the brain? Am I hand is it his brain?
This is what he used to regulate his emotions with.
There's a cavity cut right between the hemispheres.
The lieutenant answers with the sound of his pen on paper.
Fucking cavity, see?
Kuno's voice is hushed. Push deeper.
Your fingers are all the way in now, reaching toward the inside of his skull. The cavity goes further, but the entry wound isn't wide enough for the rest of your hand to follow.
Wiggle it in.
Your fingers reach toward his skull. His cerebral cortex feels like jelly. Cold jelly. Strange fluid streams down your wrist as you push deeper until you feel it on the tip of your finger. Sharp, serrated material. The edges cut right into your skin.
I feel a solid object right under the skull.
Can you get to it?
He searches his pockets for something. Inspect the skull first.
There's a tiny crack, a protrusion in the cranium, right in the back of his head. Your finger must be pointing straight at it from the inside.
Something broke his skull? What the hell happened?
The object that is in there stops just short of the skull, in the encephalus, knocking this tiny fracture into the cranium.
We have the makings of a very small exit wound here.
The lieutenant leans in closer.
Forget about the fucking exit wound, Beano. The pig is wearing him like a fuck puppet.
What the hell are these guys? Just fish it out, dude. Precise spot I have. 92%. Done. Easy. Success. I got it. Got something. Is it a bullet? Probably a bullet, right? Maybe from my own...
Pick the object between your index and middle finger. It feels sharp, like metal. With your face twisting from pain and concentration, all you need to do is just...
Whisper, I got it.
My pig's fucking got it.
I got it.
What is it?
Slowly pull your fingers out.
The inside of the head feels cold and smooth, like a glove. Sweat dripping down your brow. Careful not to lose the prize between your fingers. With a plop, your hand emerges from the mouth, covered in blood up to the wrist. Between your fingers, a small flower, a blossom made of lead.
Okay, it's a bullet.
Fucking beautiful.
A bullet.
The lieutenant pulls a small bag marked evidence under it. Drop it in. Now we know the cause of death. He was shot first.
The bullet falls in the bag, leaving a smattering of blood on the plastic. He raises the bag under his eyes and says,
A non-caliber. Rifle. Some kind of brittle alloy. Fractured on impact.
Keep it, Lieutenant, as a gift. Oh, no, you know what? Can I have it?
Of course. You've earned it.
Yep. It feels light.
We need to add an item to the injury list. Injury
Returns to his
number 4.
notebook.
Oval entry wound with an abrasion color. Soft palate. Back of mouth. High velocity. Temporary cavity in brain tissue. Small exit wound on the occiput. How does that sound?
High velocity, temporal cavity in brain tissue, small exhibit on the occupant. Sounds about right.
Opinion, fatal injury.
I'm still not sure. Look at her hand. Basically, no, agreed.
And one last thing. We can now fill in injury number 3. Ligament mark. Opinion, non-fatal. Post-mortem. Treatment.
Oh, it's a treatment, huh?
he's proposing the bullet was the real cause of death, and the hanging an attempt to conceal this fact.
The ligament mark, the fractured hyoid bone. It was all treatment.
Yes, and the belt around his neck. The hanging. Even dragging him to the yard. All of it was done after this man was already dead.
Agreed.
I have had my doubts since you showed me the tracks. Why did they carry him over? Why not march him, I thought. There was no satisfying explanation.
And I said as much, but yeah.
There have been other signs.
Secret
too.
task complete.
Small thing.
Great.
We were right not to assign hanging as cause of death, as the perpetrators expected we would. No such luck for them.
Secret task. Nice.
There is, of course, the very real possibility he was both shot and hanged.
I don't think so. Who would do this? Yeah.
That's for us to find out. But this, it will make finding them just a little easier.
Why would anyone do this?
To hide something. The real killer, the real motivation, what really happened here.
I think maybe the bullet holds more answers.
Yes, we should take a closer look at it. I am certain it has more to tell us.
This little thing could reveal much about the weapon that shot it.
I think I need to wash myself.
Oh, you really
Wash off the
really
dead
do.
smell.
I am glad to hear you say that. Your room in the Whirling in Rise should come with a bathroom. Be sure to make use of it in the evening.
Alright, yeah. Maybe they shot him while they hanged him.
To put him out of his misery?
He thinks.
It's possible, but it doesn't explain all the other dubious things here. Lack of struggle, primarily.
Yeah, that's what I also thought.
And maybe intellectually sloppy, but I prefer one theory at a time. And this just smacks of treatment to me.
Alright, what happens next?
We put him in a bag and carry him to the holding pen of my kinema. The body bag should contain the odor for the duration of the transport.
Yep, alright.
I would drive him to processing, but it's too late to do that today. I'll do it first thing tomorrow. No problem.
Alright, sure.
One more thing.
Healed morale.
This was really good work, detective.
I don't want his boots. You know what? Let's drag him to the kinema. You're finished with the corpse.
Alright.
He takes out a shiny black body bag and starts pulling the plastic over the dead man's face.
There go those beautiful enamel boots. May they rest in processing.
Yeah, it's fine. I'll make my money on
Oh
the way.
well, in another lifetime.
Yeah, maybe.
I will need a little hat carrying him. You take the hands, I'll take the legs.
Bag the corpse and drag it to the motor carriage. Alright, this was good. The hidden task completion, that was very good. I like it. Now we know he was killed by a bullet, too. Which we did not know before. Let's use the car.
Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone, a pull-out toolbox, and the soft glow of the fuel preheater gauge.
How do I turn on the headlights?
Alright. Ready? I turn, you press start. It's next to the preheater.
He turns the preheater on, waits, takes out the keys and says, Alright, I ready, I turn start, I turn, you press start. Press engine start. The dashboard lights.
The dashboard lights up with orange glow. The rails per minute gauge jumps, and the engine of the Caprice Canadian comes to life with a whiny growl.
Alright.
Like a leopard waking from its sleep, yawning and roaring at the same time.
Press the button labeled headlights.
The lights unfold with a little click, casting electrical light onto the ground before the vehicle.
Good.
There you go. I'll turn them off from the remote once you're done. We just need to stand in front of the machine now.
Alright, close the door.
As you hold your ledger's clip under the headlamp, an iridescent hologram appears. A street grid and the veins of a great river. A familiar sensation washes over you.
Uh-huh.
There she is. Revachol West.
There's a note of pride in the lieutenant's voice.
Around the borders of the watermark are dozens, no, hundreds of micro perforations.
Look at the shimmering street grid
The
first.
rectangular watermark is overlaid with the logo of the RCM, and yet the major arteries of Revachol are all recognizable. They shimmer in the Kanema's headlights.
Wait, look around you.
You catch a faint glimmer from a broken beer bottle in the distance. Sounds. Two men engaged in a drunken argument, followed by the closing of some distant window.
Okay.
Ah, Martinez at night.
He smells the air and says, Alright, where are we on this?
Let me see.
He takes the ledger for a moment and inspects it.
Right here.
He says his finger near the top of the map on a segment of coast jutting out into the great ocean. Seems nice.
No, it does not.
The redenses their optimism. Alright. Look at the perforations.
There are many of them, and they are divided into 3 separate rows.
Alright, tally up the rows.
The first row has 18 dots.
What about the next one?
The next is the longest. It runs all the way around the border, and then some.
Count them.
You count 216 perforations. Considering that nice, large number, a wave of pride washes over you, though you can't say why precisely.
Okay, what about the last
The
row?
last row has 3 perforations.
Maybe it's cases I've done, I've solved.
That's
See,
it.
that's it. AK, what do these holes mean? Beyond the dots and the watermark.
Those are perforations. They represent your record as an officer of the RCM. They are your statistics, as it were. I should have guessed you'd keep a record. Officers often do. Let's take a look.
Let's.
Alpha male officers who are proud of their numbers often do. It's meant.
The first row represents your years of service. 18 years. Okay, not bad at all. What did you do before you volunteered?
I walked the land telling whores and liars of the end to come. There are 9,855 days remaining. Probably a boring office job. Feel like I went on apologizing. Wait, 18 years I've done this?
That's what it says. I might have guessed even longer based on your age. What did you do all those blissful years of your youth?
Probably some boring office job.
No
Yeah.
shame in working a regular job, detective. Sometimes after a long day of doing this, I even envy it. Let's move on, shall we?
Right, yeah.
This next row, the one that wraps all the way around, is your number of closed cases.
Closed, alright.
Closed is good. It means finished. You've got, let's see.
200 and something.
Wow, more than 200.
216 to be exact.
It's quite a lot,
Uh-huh.
even for someone who's been on the force for nearly 2 decades. Usually, clearing more than 10 cases a year puts you in the 90th percentile of all RCM officers.
So you're saying I used to be Supercop? I used to be good. That's some solace, I guess. What's the last number?
Right. Those are your confirmed kills. You've got precisely 3 perforations there.
So I'm a killer.
For an RCM officer, especially Precinct 41, which is in the Jamrock Quarter, it's rather tame. I mean that in a good way.
Yeah, we don't want to kill too many people.
There are certain officers who treat their kills like some kind of ghoulish game. If they do happen to solve a case, it's usually by accident.
It's obvious Lieutenant doesn't think very highly of those officers. Yeah,
But
makes
it
sense.
seems as though you are, or at least were, one of the good ones. So we have that to be thankful for.
Have you ever killed anyone, Kim?
Yes,
It says declining to elaborate. How do you handle the strain?
everyone has their own method of coping. Some more effective or self-destructive than others.
Gives you a meaningful look. Yeah, maybe.
Personally, I find it helps to keep up a few hobbies.
Like tip-top racing?
Par exemple,
Maybe I should find a hobby.
why not gardening? You've already got the yellow gloves.
I do have the gloves. Well, thanks for this.
The lieutenant nods.
Alright, let's go. Put the
Right.
ledger away.
I'll go turn off
Read
the
the
lights.
watermarks. He presses the remote control on the key.
You can now see your statistics on your journal page, to the right of the task description.
Really? Wash off the death smell. End of day debrief. After 22, when you call it a day. It's almost that time. Interact. Evidence. Fractured bullet. The bullet mushrooms out on impact. Looks like a fractured jacket button and something that could pierce skin, flesh, and bone.
It's the ledger you found in the trash. A cabbage of papers hanging from the board, with the permeables drawer inside. It's barely held together by a clip, then made complete.
No. Put it away. Let's interact with
The
this.
bullet is safely sealed away in a plastic bag bearing the RCM stamp. Kim has filled out the label on the bag with the item number, case number, and date and location the bullet was found.
What do I do with you, bullet?
What?
The lieutenant steps closer. I said, what do I do with you, bullet?
Well, if I was the bullet, which I'm not, I would say find the weapon that shot me.
Good idea.
If we find who
Task
owns
gain,
it,
find the
we
motive.
will have likely found who used it, possibly to kill our victim.
Makes
In
sense.
conclusion, the more we know about this bullet of yours, the better.
Feel the bullet to the bag.
The squashed bullet has some sharp edges where the jacket has split open. It feels cold, even through the bag.
Okay.
You wouldn't ordinarily have cause to handle jacketed bullets. The citizens' militia uses cast bullets only.
Okay.
Little pebbles of metal loaded from the muzzle, usually in a cartridge.
Inspect the bullet closer.
The jacket of the bullet is made of a yellowish metal. It has blossomed out to reveal a dark grey core. The base of the bullet is close to 5 millimeters in diameter.
Look at the jacket.
You can just about make out a few striations near the base of the bullet. Little hairlines, linear. It feels standard.
And the core?
It's quite destroyed. Some of the fragments are still lodged in the wound.
Okay.
What can you say about the bullet so far?
It's a jacketed bullet, close to 5 millimeter in diameter.
A jacketed bullet. Okay. It would have been shot from a military-grade breech
Maybe
loading
his
rifle,
own gun. Huh?
not from a muzzleloader, like those typically found on the streets of Martinez.
Probably his own gun then, yeah.
Highly unusual. The people of Revachol haven't carried breech-loading weapons like this for nearly half a century.
Even the RCM uses ordinary unjacketed conical bullets. This is strange. Very strange. I like this, officer. Strange means unique. Unique means incriminating. We need to find the gun that shot it.
Try and determine. Encyclopedia says came from breech loader. 28% chance. Let's try it.
You can't
Nope.
remember what happened last week. What makes you think you're going to remember arcane firearm models?
28% chance. Put it away. So we have another one. Oh, another one and done. Read the watermarks, right? Interview Wild Pines rep. Find out who the union box is. They're not there today. They eventually show up. Victim ceramic armor puts on the number using Kiraga shortwave motor. Ask him after the initial inspection of dead body is done. The photo you found in Night Wars booth, the one with the happy couple, ask Rene about it. The hangman armor is missing. Find booze and drink. Call your station's Lazareth. Make the call. End of day debrief. Do some conclusion. Yeah, pay for the damages. Track down your badge. Put the didn't I find my badge already? Anyway, I have. Wait, what do I need for this?
The bullet is still safely sealed away in a
Hand-eye coordination. Hand-eye coordination. Ready, aim, fire. Hand-eye coordination loves the interaction between you and things that fly in the air. Enables you to catch coins from mob bosses, shoot straight, and understand firearms intimately. Want to know the precise make and mark of a rifle? Hand-eye coordination got you. Want to shoot someone with it? Ditto. At high levels, hand-eye coordination makes you deadly, supposing you got a weapon in your hand. Once you do it, hand-eye coordination will compel you to take the shot, even if it's not the best approach. At low levels, however, you'll be even more of a disaster in waiting, because when the guns go off, and they always do, you probably hit the wrong target. Alright, well, we can level it up. And hopefully that is enough. Perform advanced analysis using hand-eye coordination. Yes. That's why I
The bullet
upgraded it.
is still safely sealed. You can't remember what happened last week. What makes you think you're good?
Well, you know what makes me think? I'm gonna crank it up some more. Now I have a lot.
The bullet is still safely sealed away
58%.
in a
Let's
plastic
go.
bag. A rifle,
Done.
Revolutionary period. Your bullet looks to be an old 4.46 millimeter.
Old gun, huh?
From the surplus left over from the turn of the century. Probably an antique or a retrofitted antique.
So an old gun.
The 4.46 caliber was widely used with the Belmargrave rifle, a Revacholian manufacturer. The BM dominated the battlefields of the Insulindian theater of the anti-centennial revolution 50 years ago.
Okay, lots of big words, made up words. Alright, is anyone still making these rifles? Important questions.
No, but Zeliger, a major firearm manufacturer, ended up with a surplus after the war. So there are still a lot of these old military rifles floating around, usually broken. The quality was appalling.
So who uses Belmargrave rifles these days?
Antiques enthusiasts, guerrilla fighters in distant countries, a few lucky jamrock bangers. You're looking for a well-preserved antique, most likely.
Alright.
What
Didn't
are you
jot something
thinking?
down in his
Bullet?
notebook. I think I know where this came from. Dangle the bag thoughtfully.
Okay. And
The shot probably came from a Belmargrave rifle.
an antique. That makes sense. There can't be many breech-loading rifles floating around in Martinez or anywhere in Ravachol, really.
Why not?
Sure, there's some arms trafficking, but the laws prohibiting the use of breech loaders we inherited from the monarchy have been effective, from what I've seen.
Okay.
Some
That's a
new
lot.
RCM recruits get impatient with their muzzle loaders once they've trained with military-grade weapons, but they realize it's worth it in the end.
Is it?
Prohibiting peacetime law enforcement to front-loaded rifles is a policy enforced by the Moralist International in all the nations of the Real Belt.
Makes you consider every shot. I like it. Yeah.
Imagine if everyone, cops, citizens, had access to firearms that could shoot multiple rounds without pausing to reload. After the first shot, the second, third, and so on come much easier.
Maybe.
But back to the investigation.
Could have mixed up with some foreign guerrilla fighters, have well-armed jamrock bangers at a crossing. Seems you're looking for an antique enthusiast.
It doesn't seem that likely,
Mhm.
but we'll check out all possible leads. Next step, finding the gun itself.
Yep. That's another mission done. Very good. You can talk to him as well for a bit.
Yes?
Tell me about the case
What do
again.
you want to know?
Now that we've inspected the scene, I want to know more about this pissing competition you mentioned.
What's there to say? It's just stupidity.
What kind of stupidity?
The cop kind. Our precincts can't decide if Martinez is part of Jamrock or the Industrial Harbor. Yours or mine, as if we somehow own parts of the city. Typical street gang mentality. So we've let the Union make a mockery of law enforcement here. And now it's come to its natural conclusion.
So none of us wanted to maintain this part because each one thought it's the other person's part. Alright. So this struggle is over who runs Martinez.
Well, sort of. It's less a matter of who gets to police Martinez than who has to. It's an orphan district, in other words.
No one wants to take care of it, yeah.
I think the dispatch desk just told both our stations about the hanging. There was quite the brouhaha at the 57th, I can tell you that. Time to settle it, they said. Cop off. But I assure you,
Elysium.
I am not their finest or toughest, with 102 cases solved. What I am is least interested in a pissing competition.
Just wants to get the job done.
So
I see.
he volunteered to represent the 57th, but not out of competitiveness. On the contrary, somewhere in your mind hangs a dark green blackboard. There are 2 columns. One says cases solved, the other confirmed kills.
102. Close your eyes, so you volunteered to spoil it. For some reason I thought you had 104. What's special about Martinez? Okay, I guess just close your eyes.
The rows are endless.
Cases solved, confirmed kills. Look for precinct 41.
Jean Vicmer,
Oh.
Judith Minot, a special consultant. What was his name? Then the rows degrade into green nothingness.
Jean Victor, Judith Minot. Wait, what is his name? Yeah, you're Kim. Yeah, it's something else. For some reason I thought you had 104 solved cases.
Well, technically,
The didn't
the
say
official
somewhat
record
sheepishly.
keeper has been known to double count murder-suicides.
A common accounting gimmick used to inflate precinct stats.
So you're still a good cop, right?
I wouldn't
Oh,
say that.
what the hell, pathetic.
And my caseload is measly, but that's beside the point.
I clicked the wrong one.
I'm good enough for this case. I'm not here to compete. I came because I had to. My fellow officers, the sergeants in particular, would have made this scene into a circus.
Alright, what's special about Martinez?
Martinez? Nothing. It's just a puddle at the end of some drain pipe. No one cares about this place. They care about sports. Most of our colleagues don't even know how to get here. North of the interchange doesn't exist.
I wonder what this is about me, that I was sent by my station. It is an Abron thinking it best to let you make the next move.
It's all part of the master plan, you see.
Like only one conclusion, I am the finest case-solving machine set to outperform you. I must be an Augury apocalyptic omen. I probably have an unbelievable kill count. I am an highly experimental cop, but if I am right, this is outie, even by my standards. Sure.
Really?
Yes, I worry so much. I read the scene 3 days early, drink myself to oblivion, fully re-immerse myself in the reality, and then work the case from an angle so crisp and fresh it produces never before seen results. Maybe.
It can't be that.
Part of me wants to believe what he just said. I am notoriously difficult to work with, wonderkin with extremely unorthodox methods.
Wouldn't that be something? And who could say it's not true? If you really don't remember anything, how would you know?
The thoughts make him
We
uneasy.
should move.
Alright, enough of this cop competition.
Yes, it's a wholly pointless matter. Forget I ever mentioned it.
Ooh, logic. Why did they send me? 28%.
Because you're the best qualified. No, that doesn't seem right.
Now that makes sense. I'm exceedingly
If you're
qualified.
so well qualified, why can't you remember why you were sent? Anyway, don't keep the lieutenant waiting.
Alright, leave. That's fine. Who are you? It's kind of standing here. Tommy Lee Homie.
And a hunter and a gatherer. Feel like a traveler.
The man mutters to himself, ascending the beats as he
A
goes.
simple little cadence. He seems to be making it up as he goes.
What's going on here?
It's the jam, my man.
Emotions towards the sprawl of lorries to sweeping gesture.
The air from the east is thick with the smell of crude oils, heavy metals and other byproducts of the modern era. You could almost taste it.
What's the jam?
It's a traffic jam for the ages.
Oh, this stuff.
Harbor
Alright.
gates up the street are shut tight. No explanation given. Workers on strike, scabs agitating, an all-around clusterfuck. Meanwhile, we're all stuck here in long-haul limbo, for days upon days upon days.
He glances south up the road.
Upon days.
Limbo, huh? So that's where I am. So how long you been here? Yeah.
Feels like forever. Like I was born on this here roundabout and this was all I ever knew. Just me and the metal and the tires, the oil and the fumes of mazout.
Could you say it again? Only a little less plodding?
Everyone's a critic, man.
He waves
It's
you off.
okay. I've been here
Yeah.
a whole week already.
Like, I want exact details. A week.
So
Alright.
tell me, what do you need?
Spare some change. Tell me more about this strike.
It's like whatever's going on over at the docks. Workers got a blockade set up, making demands, no way in or out.
Mm-hmm.
Going on strike would probably help you dodge a bullet or two.
What's the union demanding?
Some pretty wild stuff, I hear. Like a giant new power crane in half the company. I forget what exactly. Good on them, I guess.
Well, they're not gonna get it. They're just trying to steal stuff.
I've heard talk there's a company rep in town, too. Like a strike negotiator type. They know what's up. Precise demands and so on.
Okay.
Ah, yes, from the Wild Pines. We'll meet her soon enough, I'm sure.
Alright. What do you think the company wants?
They want to keep that money flowing in, my man. Ka-ching.
Alright.
He doesn't blame them, but he's not on their side. That's for sure.
Maybe I should go on strike.
Maybe you should. Cops don't get paid much and the hours are long. Plus, you can get shot. Why not?
Why not indeed? What's up with all the tattoos too?
The RCM is a self-managing organization that operates on donations. We promote our own leaders. It would be like striking against your own mother.
Guess you got a point there.
Yes, but do continue. You were asking about the strike?
Anything else I should know?
Anything else? Yeah, this ain't really my area of expertise. I just do my job and get paid. I have things to do and places to be. All of us do.
All of who?
Us lorry drivers. Camionneurs. You still hang around here waiting for this mess to end. Most have scurried off somewhere to get drunk or high. Or laid.
He smiles awkwardly.
Not that I blame them, really.
Not you?
Not my thing. Chasing transient pleasures is a drag these days. I prefer the examined life now. Thinking, reflecting, observing.
He glances down the road toward the horizon, a glint of something in his eye. He's a philosopher?
He tries his best to look nonchalant, but there's a rigidity in him, as if trying to conceal something warm and deep beneath a cool exterior.
What are you hauling anyway?
Oh, high-grade narcotics, illegal firearms, stuff like that.
Really?
Relax. He's merely joking.
Wicked, I also wanted a friend in the underworld.
Ha! No, I'm joking, my man.
He grins.
Found runs a nice, clean business. This haul of cargo is mostly sporting goods. You know, tracksuits and that kind of thing.
Okay.
They usually get shipped to Grad and the Occident. Though we've been making headway in the Il Moran market lately.
Though nothing illegal then.
Not unless they've illegalized sports equipment while I was on the road.
That's your machine behind you?
This rockin' beauty.
He points to
Sure
the lorry
is.
with his thumb.
Like a rash you can't get rid of. You interested in heavy-duty cargo machinery?
I mean, I guess.
A motor lorry, also called a camion, on Caillou and neighboring islands. This one looks roughed up enough to be some sort of found rust bucket. Maybe the A6.
File an A6.
Good eye, my man. Yup, she's an old one, but reliable.
Gives out of the
Me and
lorry
her
a
spent
friendly
a long
knock.
time together.
Alright, could I get one of those Fallen tracksuits you're
We're
hauling?
pals and all, but I can't just freely hand out the merchandise. The bosses won't be happy.
Alright, good, good. This is a test. Right, I had a question.
The
Conclude.
man taps his fingers rhythmically against his arm.
What do you see in his eyes? I don't know, check it.
Ease into it. Don't go too far. This seems like a personal matter.
Alright, failure. Man, you look sad. What's going on with
I'm
you?
okay, man. Just the jams got me down. The fumes, the chemical rainbows, the tarpaulin stretched on the frames and the dull engines off.
The man recedes into his days of words.
Maybe the full-on direct approach wasn't correct. Damn. It's tricky business looking into someone's eyes and not doing it wrong.
Alright, I'm all good for now.
Don't be a stranger.
Gives you a salute with 2 fingers. Alright. Sure, I mean, it's almost the end of the day. Anything new to say with you?
It's raining again.
The young woman looks up at the overladen sky.
It was clear just an hour ago.
Hey, the body is gone.
Like, gone?
The girl repeats, facing him with appreciation. It's not in the yard anymore, it's the central processing in the morgue.
I'm glad to hear that.
You're an experience. A quick
Thank you,
smile.
officer. Looks like I'll get mint in the ground by April.
Alright, I have to run. It's just giving her the information. Needs to be given. Most people set up a bed after 21, but or not long after. By 2, everyone is asleep. A lot more people in here. Anything new with you?
Hello again, sweetie.
Alright, nothing new. Should probably just end the episode, I guess. It's all about money, you know. You don't want to talk? Could go and talk to the chef in here. Or look at the door, I guess.
You see a heavy steel door with a prominent dimple lock. It's painted blue.
Push
The
the door.
door does not budge.
Touch
The
the door.
cobalt blue surface feels rough to touch. The stainless steel door is flush with its frame on every side. Old cobalt paint, rough on the fingers. 40, 50 years since this was painted maybe. It leads to a side building, adjacent to this one. The old building next to this, half ruined. Whatever is behind it must be older.
Alright. $50. Why the hell not, I guess. I'll see if I really need to talk to you.
Can I help you?
I need a drink, can you pour me one?
Do I have a shaker in my hand? Is this...
He points to his
is
empty
this
hand.
a shaker?
Guess
It's
not.
not a shaker. It's nothing. He's holding nothing. It is but an imitation.
Nope, nothing there.
Am I wearing a little bow tie? Am I wearing a bow tie and doing this?
He shakes the imaginary shaker furiously.
Am I smiling? Do you see me smiling and shaking my little shaker? No. Do you know why?
Because you're not the bartender.
That's right. I'm the cafeteria manager.
He calms his breath.
I'm glad we cleared that. Was there anything else?
I guess
Play
not.
it calm. This man needs to understand you need a drink to help the community deal with police stuff.
I need to insert alcohol. No, I need
Like
to do something
what?
else. Goodbye. I don't need a drink, honestly. What we can do, I mean, if you got some time at the end of the day. Book a la fume.
An intricate web of it almost looks
Yeah, okay, we can't do anything with that. Could read one of the case files. Would take 30 minutes to do so. Could also...
The face of King Fleecell smiles at you. For some reason, the smile now strikes you as more forced than it did before.
Local concerns.
Unsurprisingly, much of this section is taken up with articles declaring unqualified support for the dock workers' strike. You skim the headlines. Paint the harbor red and white.
Alright.
Martinez tames the wild pines. A city in revolt. First we take Martinez, then we take La Delta.
Great.
Finally, there's a brief article by the writer G. Martin accusing the owner of the Cape Side Apartments of illegally attempting to evict certain communist tenants simply for not having paid their rent.
Yeah, simply for not having paid rent. I think that gives him reason to remove them.
Ah, this must be Gaston's handiwork.
Charging rent to live somewhere is pretty outrageous. Wouldn't be best for everyone if labor and capital could reach some reasonable accommodation. Charging rent to live somewhere is pretty outrageous.
The writer G. Martin remarks dryly that capitalists love wealth redistribution so long as it's only redistributed upward.
Great.
It's true, the rentiers have been bleeding you dry. You really ought to find your own place one of these days.
Yeah, you should do it.
You flip back to the front of the magazine. The table of contents unfolds before you.
Put the magazine away. Alright, take the day off now, I guess.
We should think about calling it a day, maybe. The nights are still miserably cold this time of year.
I haven't paid the cafeteria manager for damages yet.
We should take care of that then.
I don't have the money.
Let's talk to him anyway. An officer of the RCM shouldn't be sleeping in the street. We'll figure something out.
Alright, sure. Let's do that. Hey, manager.
Can I help you?
About that money I owe.
Yes. Have you got it?
I was wondering if to come to some sort of arrangement for tonight.
Does that arrangement include you paying me what we already agreed you owe me?
Kim is about to say something. Let him.
I understand your predicament as the manager. However,
He adjusts his glasses.
I feel I must remind you that we are here to conduct an important investigation that also affects your business.
Forgive me for saying this, but your colleague seems more committed to drinking, and
He stops mid-sentence.
I mean no offense. It's really nothing personal. I just have to protect the interests of this establishment.
This conversation isn't going anywhere, is it?
Not until you bring me the money.
Great.
Okay, I might have something in my motor carriage we can use when you're done here.
Alright.
Oh, Lieutenant, we're done here.
Alright, sure. You're gonna give me money? Because I suppose that's probably what you're gonna do. Low on morale, put points into volition. Yo, why the hell is your thing still on? Yo, put this thing off, you're wasting petrol.
Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone, a pull-out toolbox, and the soft glow of the fuel preheater gauge.
Okay.
I have something here we could sell. Look in the back, in the suspect transport enclosure.
Oh,
Transport enclosure. Regular people just call it the cage.
look in the suspect transport
The
enclosure.
cage at the back of the motor carriage looks rather uncomfortable. 4 shiny hubcaps are stacked against the seat. Their silver edges sparkle in the dark.
I confiscated these 4 a little while back. We can take them to the pawn shop down by the Martinez Canal.
What are those things?
There are spinner hubcaps, frivolous things you put on your wheels. When the wheels come to a stop, the caps keep on spinning. There's no real use for them, it's just for vanity.
What do you mean you confiscated
A
them?
couple of weeks ago, I stopped a young man for going slower than the speed of traffic. Turns out he was some coalition official's son and high.
So you took his spinners.
I took them and arrested him for driving under the influence.
Look at the spinners. I get it. I would have confiscated them too. They're
That
mesmerizing.
they are. I was
Very
going to take
nice.
them into evidence, but they weren't necessary for conviction. He never asked for them back.
Do you want to put these spinners on your machine?
No, that would be silly. I don't know why I kept them. It doesn't matter. I couldn't put them on this MC anyway.
Motor
A car
carriage.
with spinners. That would be outrageous.
Outrageously cool.
He flashes a smile, barely visible in the dark.
I'm sorry you have to sell them because of me.
As I said, they are useless anyway. I should have remembered I have these earlier.
You said something about a pawn shop?
Yes, there's one 100 meters south of here.
South,
I
okay.
think it's called Roy's Nest or something. If I'm not mistaken, it should be open late.
Okay.
Items that can be pawned at Bird's Nest Roy's appear in your inventory under the Items tab. You can pawn these items when talking to Roy.
Thanks, I appreciate your help. Take the spinners.
The
Yeah.
lieutenant nods as you take the spinners.
Tap on the fuel preheater gauge.
As you tap on the gauge, the indicator pin jerks as if startled. It's in the large orange sector, indicating the engine is warm. Next to the gauge is a red switch labeled heat.
Now, that's enough fun with the foldable headlights. I know they are mesmerizing. They're also fragile. I'm not going to turn it on for you again.
Alright. Close the door. Okay, so I guess we're gonna sell this stuff. I mean, items. We have a bunch, huh? Radiant spinners. Price 200. This magnificent hubcap spinners that Rudin Kisarage is donated to you. You can pay for your room at the Whirling. They are slate blue and slimmer, haughtily in the light. Postcard, Leisure Dan, Lieutenant's handkerchief, Grand Crown, Green Kind apple pen, Dock Worker's card, empty cassette case. Anyway. We have pay for damages. You need to pay for the damages you caused in the Whirling and Rags, or you wouldn't have a place to stay tonight. Ask around for money and be careful with your spending. If you're unsure how much you owe, ask Rat. Ask your station for additional funds. Take spinner hubcaps to local pawn shops out of the plaza. Good Cop, Bad Cop, Superstar Cop, Apocalypse Cop, Sorry Cop 3, Boring Cop 3, Communist 2, Fascist 3, Unbeatable, Moralist 1, Good Cop, Bad Cop 17, Honor 0. 3 people killed, 218 cases solved, recent service 18 years. What do you mean Sorry Cop and Boring Cop? Come on, man. Anyway, let's save the game. And see you all in the next one.